Hello again everyone on YouTube. This is David again, back with another video. Today I'm talking about a couple of new flashlights that I got. It is the Jetbeam T6vn modified special flashlight, and then I've got the Nitecore TM16GT. And the highlight of this video is going to be the Jetbeam T6vn. This light is just amazing. This is like super duper on steroids, V2, you know, super awesome version 2. What we have here, super awesome version 1, is K60 K70, and we've looked at these before, and we all know that these are awesome lights. The K60 has a really nice beam pattern with a lot of lumens, and it gets out there in front very far. You know, it illuminates out in the distance. I turned this thing on for the first time, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to see. And then this one, the K70, came out, and this is like a super thrower. So we got, you know, a hotspot. This is 90% hotspot we're talking about with this light, and it's a smaller hotspot area, tighter area, but it really gets out there, 1,300 meters. That's a far distance to be able to see in the dark with just a little handheld light like this. So, you know, general purpose, this is about as good as it gets, and for like extended range, both of these are like, you know, their own light. But believe it or not, this T6vn, Jetbeam T6vn, and this is not, the T6vn is not the Jetbeam T6. You don't get it from the same place. It's not the same light. It's been remade, completely different drivers in here, and the different LED chips are swapped out. The heat sinking is different, so thermal dynamics are improved. And what you get here basically is the K60 and the K70 in one light that's about half the size of either of those. So this is one freaking amazing light. And I was just looking at the spec sheet that's on the, I got the website, skylumen.com. That's skylumen.com. Vin Nguyen is the guy that does the work to modify these lights. And so I bought this light off him, and I'm glad I did, because I was thinking about other things, but I ended up getting this. What he has listed here, okay. There's two different specs. Spec 1, XPL, that's the emitters. XPL PDT, that stands for Premium D-Dome Tint. So Spec 1 is the XPL. These are the custom chips that he puts in there. The Premium D-Dome Tint is, you know, he cracks the dome off the top of the chip, and thus the light projects further rather than being diffused somewhat, which makes for a better throwing for the very specific application of a thrower flashlight. It's more ideal. So he does that, and then, you know, I was watching one of his videos. When he does it, he ends up throwing away about 3/4 of his LEDs, and about 1/4 of them make it onto these lights. So they really are, you know, the cream of the crop that you're getting with one of these when you purchase it. So the Spec 1 Premium, the PDT Premium D-Dome Max Throw and Neutral 5000K 10 Anti-Lumen 5150. That's a healthy number there. And we've got the Lux 405K Lux with a max throw of 1,270 meters. So I'm just gonna say 1,300 meters because it's easier than 1,270, and it's like so close anyways. And the thing is that when I bought this light, he had the lumens rated at 5,700 rather than 5,150, and so I'm thinking 5,150 is like a bare minimum. And what he did was he started selling a lot of these, and then when it was 5,700 lumens, some of them weren't coming in because they're not all the same. All, you know, when you get one of these and everything comes together, they don't all come together exactly the same. So what he did is he took a bare minimum number. This is what I suspect, the bare minimum number of 5150, which is what at least what you'll get. Because I know that if this is like 5,000 lumens, then it's like a real straight up 5,000 lumens, because it's got to be at least more than that. It's more like, I'm pretty sure this is closer to 6,000 lumens on the one that I got. And 405K lux. And then you can get the Spec 2, which is the dome on XPL, and that's like let's throw 920 meters versus the 1300 or the 1270, and the lux 210K versus 405K. But the lumens are bumped, so if you get the other Spec 2, which is not what I got Spec 1 here, which is what we're going to look at outside. If you get the Spec 2, it's about 6,500 to 7,100 lumens, 6,500 to 7,100, versus this one listed as 5,150, which is I think a bare minimum. You know, you'll likely get at least that. I know this one is. So anyways, now I got the Nitecore TM16GT, which is another light that's similar. I want to compare it. It's 4 times XPL HI, and then this one is, you know, straight from the factory, and it's 3,600 lumens. And you get your Nitecore UI, which is you get one button for on, another button to mode cycle. And you can hold the second button down and get your, hold it down for strobe, hold it down again for your beacon, and hold it down again, and you get your SOS, and turn it off. You long press, and you'll get the moonlight mode from off, long press, and then long press on that's long pressing the power button, long press on the mode button, and you'll get turbo, instant turbo. So that's not bad. I mean, for a UI, it's easy to use. It's your one press on, press off, versus something else that could be, I think, the law should be that your flashlight, one press to turn it on, one press to turn it off. Anything you got to do between those parameters to make it work the way, then fucking do that, because I can't deal with long pressing to keep waiting to turn the light on just to turn it on in the normal way that it should turn on. Flashlights were born to press to turn on, and they should be that way forever. Okay. Anyway, so the UI, that's the UI, that Nitecore, and then the UI for the T6vn is what's called a Drivervn X2. So again, it's just press to turn on, press to turn off. That parameter stays the same. So that will always be that way. And then to cycle modes, hold down the button, and it will cycle modes, and double click for turbo. But that's only in the mode that I'm in. I'm in mode 6. So you get this driver is programmable, fully programmable. You got 16 different UIs that you can program into this, and the way you program it is real easy. You just 8 clicks, do 8 quick. You got all these different things. I'm on 6 right now, mode 6, number 6 is what I'm doing, which is 75%, 20%, double click for 100%. So like if I want to go to say 10, then what you do is you just do 8 quick presses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then wait, and it goes bam, it goes on. Now I'm in mode 10, and it's just as easy as that. Just 8 quick presses, and then however many to go in the mode group you want to be in. And now it's stuck in here until I do another 8 quick presses. So I can just leave it here forever if I'm happy, or go do, if I need it for something else for whatever reason, then I can switch. So mode 10 is 100, 70, 20, and 1. So 100% I'm starting out at, hold it down, 70, 20, 1% is the lowest. And it's mode memory, so now I turn it off. It's always mode memory. Last mode memory is always true with this driver. It will always do last mode memory. So that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. And press and hold to cycle, last mode memory, and right now I'm in 10, and the double click feature is set to strobe. So I do double click, and I get the strobe mode. So that's kind of nice. And then long press, and then so this is always true. Your double click mode will always be whatever group you're in. You know, you do the double click. I'm in 10, double click is strobe, so I'll always have that where I'm at now. And the first one for 10 is 100%. So to get to the first one from wherever you were, just hold down long press from off, and it'll go. And I know that the first mode is turbo, and I like that. That's really cool. That if I'm wherever I'm at, I need to light on full, you know, turbo, run outside, whatever, and I just hold it down, and there it goes. So this is a really nice UI. It's nearly perfect, and that's saying a lot. Originally, now the reason I say this is very different from the original Jetbeam T6, not the custom one from VN, but the T6 comes with its own UI, you know, and it's the UI that it has is when it's off, in order to just turn it on, not do anything special, you have to long press and hold and then wait, and then it comes on. And then to turn it back off again, you have to long press and hold and wait for it to go back off again. And I really hate those types of things. You know, I think that ruins a flashlight when the UI is set up that way. I had another one I was going to show you that had the UI set up. Let me. Here it is. Okay, so this is a Phoenix. This is a wonderful light. I love this light, except for the UI, and it's the long press. So I click it, nothing happens because it's like broken basically, but it's not broken. It's just you got a long press. So you long press, and it comes on, and this is a floodlight. But and then you have to just basically clicking the button only switches modes. So I you know, it's counterintuitive to me, and I'm in the mode that I like. It's got mode memory, but I'm in, like, you know, I'm using the light, and then I go to turn it off, and it doesn't turn off. It switches down to mode, and then I'm like, whoa. And if I didn't already put it down and notice, then I'm like, oh shoot, what happened? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, it's long press. So then I long press, turn it off, and then I'm like, wait a minute, it's not going to be in the mode that I want because it's got mode memory. So now, like, you know, when I turn it back on, it's gonna come on in that other mode. So then I go to turn it back on and fix it, and I press the button, and it doesn't come back on again because I have to long press to turn. So it's just like, it's kind of a nightmare for me personally. So I love this UI. And that's the original. The original Jetbeam T6 comes with that, a type of UI like that. That's like funky like that. So this one's good. This one's cool. This one's bright as hell. You know, the sun was still up there, but we're working hard, I guess. And let's see. Oh yeah, batteries. These are some high drain batteries I got here. These are LG 2500 milliamps. And these are recommended for this. This takes a lot of amps. The reason when this one, especially the modified version, pulls a lot of amps. And if your batteries can't push the amps, then it can't pull the amps. So you need good batteries. These are good batteries here. These are Panasonic 18650 NCR 18650B. But these ones are 3400 milliamps. So they're, you know, they got a lot of life in them, but they don't put out as many amps. They're like 4 amps or 3, something like that. I'm not sure exactly, don't quote me. So what happens is, you know, when at full voltage, these will shine, you know, they might shine bright, get full brightness at full voltage, but as soon as the voltage starts to dip even a little bit, then it can't use the volts to compensate for the amps, and it can only put out so many amps, so the brightness goes down much more rapidly. And that's something I just kind of figured out recently. So then I've got these LGs. These are 3000 milliamp with 25 amp draw, and these are the best ones to get for lights like these because they got a lot of, they can pull a lot of amps, and they've got 3000 milliamps. And then there's the other LGs. They're the 3500 milliamp, and they do 10 amps, and those ones are good too. But for some real high amp applications, they might not be enough. And these ones are just some 2900 milliamps that are in good condition, that they're just for like your basic non-high amp thing. That I got these from a laptop battery. So use the high amp batteries for lights like these. You know, if you get this T6vn, you're gonna have to get something that pulls a lot of amps. So LG HG2, that's this one, LG HG2. You can Google that, or LG HE2, and the HE2 is the same as the I think it's the HE4. LG, this is the HE2, and the yellow one is the HE4. But definitely the high amp version, not your NCR 18650B. They'll work at first, but they'll get dim quickly, and these ones will stay bright a long time. Run times, this thing, I ran it for an hour on these ones next to a big fan, and this thing does, you know what, this for a modded light, as bright as it is, it doesn't get that hot. Like, I held it in my hand for about 5 minutes before it got kind of too hot to hold, and I turned it off. So that's a good long time for 100% turbo with a light this bright. What this light is capable of doing. So I had a fan and I left it running, and after about 45 minutes, it was still able to be brighter than, like, the batteries dipped down some, but it was still brighter than the TM16GT. After an hour, it was about as bright, equal to the TM16GT. So this thing, it is practical. You know, it's for a modded light that's high output, that's been altered in such to the extent that this one has. It's still practical. This is still a really practical light to use, just to basically use and not have to be too, you know, on your toes about. That being said, though, it is a modded light, and you do not want to leave this light on unattended. And Vin you know, says as much on the website skylumen.com. You can see some instructions he has posted up there, and it says under no circumstances to use the light unattended. So do not leave the light on without having it in hand, basically, is the advice for that. It's alright. I think I've talked enough. I've shown you the interfaces and talked about the batteries that you want to get for this thing, and how practical it actually is. It's just as practical as this one is. And I'm going to take these ones outside. I'm going to take the TM16, the TM16GT, and the T6vn on outside and do flashlight comparison. And that's it for the discussion and overview. So please click the like button. I very much appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel, and I appreciate that too. Thank you very much. We'll see you outside. Okay, so I'm out here at the park, and I've found a pretty dark location, and I'm going to go ahead and test out. Got a little bit of range here at this location. I'm going to test out the Nitecore TM16, the Nitecore TM16GT, and the Jetbeam T6vn modified flashlight. Let's see. What I have here is I don't know if you can see that. It's a Manker, new Manker light. Anyway. Here we have the TM16. And this is the, I think this is the older version. Right. Yes. This is the original TM16. As I remember it. And let's try the TM16GT. And obviously we get more intensity on the light, less lumens, but better throw. So the TM16GT on the left and TM16 on the right. And let's go for the T6vn. T6vn. I think it pretty clearly beats both of these other lights. This is the original TM16, T6vn, and this is one bright light. I mean, you look at the spill on it, and it's really a pretty intense light. Okay, and let's get the TM16GT. Okay, T6vn, and these are just on turbo, so you get, you know, an idea. The rest can just be discussed in the, you know, when I talk about the review. It's not as bright. Okay, so let's see. Here's the TM16GT, and obviously it's a cooler light. I much prefer the tint on the T6vn. And the performance, pretty much, you know, you can see for yourself. This light to me really is a Acebeam K60 and K70 rolled into one kind of deal. I mean, it's hard to believe, but you're looking at 1,300 meters, claimed 1,300. It's believable too. You know, I mean, I've looked at it with the K70, and this T6vn is 6,000 lumens, approximately 6,000 ANSI lumens out the front lumens, and which is, you know, better than the K60 by Acebeam, and then the getting a throw of approximately 1,300 meters, which is on par with the K70. So that's pretty amazing for one flashlight. Okay, let me do the GT again. Yeah, that's turbo. T6vn. Nitecore TM16GT. And you see I've had this T6vn has been on for a little while now, and it's just warm, you know, it's not even really hot yet, and it's not very cold out right now, so it does pretty darn good thermally. So you kind of get an idea of the difference between these two. The T6 is better than the TM16GT. You know, close up, they're just overpowering. They're really like spotlight on you type of thing. And far away, they, you know, I'm sure that there's still a lot of light going on, a lot of light action going on out there. Not as much with the TM16. It does okay, but the T6vn does beat it, I think, fairly clearly. So, all right, I think I'll go ahead and shut this down now. TM16GT and Jetbeam T6vn modified. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I'm David. I'll be back again with another video. Thanks again.